Join me as I take on the challenge of building godly habits that actually bring lasting joy. Let's see if I can stick to them for a whole month. You know, I've always been quite fascinated with the idea of having godly habits and exploring their potential to bring about lasting joy to our lives. It's quite easy to get somewhat caught up in the idea that true and lasting joy can only be found from external sources, like a certain deity or spiritual ritual. What if I then told you that there's a whole lot more to it, and you can actually find joy within the habits you cultivate every single day? One of the most significant challenges individuals face when trying to discover happiness is that they tend to look for it in the incorrect perspectives. We often make the mistake of believing that by merely securing that new job, or acquiring that latest vehicle, or even joining that promising new relationship, then we'll be instantly experiencing contentment. However, the reality is that true happiness is not something that can be acquired. It's something that needs to be actively developed and nurtured. It's created and sustained through the daily habits we make a conscious effort to cultivate throughout our lives. Whenever we find ourselves trapped in a vicious cycle of negativity and comparisons, it's quite easy to experience the sensation that we don't possess enough qualities or don't deserve happiness. Moreover, it can be extremely challenging to discover genuine joy in a world where we are constantly questioning ourselves and feeling like we fall short of our goals or expectations. But what if, for a moment, we could flipping the script and reframe our mindset? What if we were to deliberately cultivate habits that shifted our focus from what we perceive as our shortcomings to what we genuinely appreciate about ourselves and our lives? By adopting a mindful approach and focusing on cultivating gratitude, we can begin to shift our perspective and recognize the abundance that surrounds us. We will start to appreciate the people who make us unique, the experiences that fill our days with happiness, and the innate, incredible talents that each one of us possesses. This shift in focus can lead us to embrace an atmosphere of abundance and joy that enriches our lives for the long haul. A frequently experienced challenge is that we tend to be so heavily centered on our own individual problems that we sometimes neglect to take a moment to look outside of ourselves. We become completely engrossed in our own struggles, and it becomes difficult for us to recall that there is a vast world out there that desperately requires our affection and assistance. Moreover, when we are solely focused on our own challenges, it's becoming increasingly challenging to discover joy, as we find ourselves trapped within a vicious cycle of self-sufficiency and self-absorption. When we're stuck in a rut, it's easy to feel like we're the only ones struggling, but the truth is, everyone struggles. And when we can acknowledge that, we can start to build habits that help us connect with others, rather than pushing them away. But what if I told you that there's a better way? What if I told you that by cultivating godly habits, you can start to experience lasting joy, no matter what life throws your way? So, let's have a discussion about what some of these heavenly habits might appear like. One of the most potent and impactful habits is the practice of gratitude. When we commit ourselves to taking moments each day to concentrate on the things we're grateful for, it profoundly alters our perspective. We commence to see the world from a more optimistic and uplifting viewpoint, and as a result, we begin to experience a heightened sense of joy and happiness. Another habit is the habit of mindfulness. When we're present in the moment, we're not worried about the past or anxious about the future. We're able to experience life as it is, without all the extra baggage. And when we're present, we're able to find joy in the simple things. And then, there's the habit of service to others. When we take the focus off of ourselves and put it on others, it's amazing how much joy we can experience. We start to see that our problems aren't so bad after all, and we start to feel more connected to the people around us. I would like to share an incredibly powerful personal story with you that vividly demonstrates the remarkable transformation that occurs when one embraces these divine habits. For my own part, it was a particular period of life in which I found myself deeply struggling to discover the joy. I was trapped in a job that I absolutely detested, and I genuinely felt as though I was merely going through the motions each and every day. However, subsequently, I made the decision to cultivate these sacred habits. I initiated the practice of gratitude journaling, and I enthusiastically devoted my attention to the things I was immensely grateful for each and every day. At first, it felt kind of superficial. I was just writing down things like coffee and my bed. But as I started to focus on the good things in my life, I began to feel a shift. I started to see the world in a more positive light, and I started to feel more joyful. And it wasn't just about the big things, it was about the little things too. I started to appreciate the beauty of a sunset, or the sound of birds singing in the morning. As I continued to cultivate these habits, I started to see a transformation in my life. I started to feel more connected to God, and more connected to the people around me, and I started to experience joy, even in the midst of hard circumstances. One of the most powerful moments for me was when I started to focus on serving others. I started volunteering at a local soup kitchen, and it was amazing to see how much joy I could experience in serving others. It wasn't about getting anything in return. It was just about being able to make a difference in someone's life. As I look back on that season of life, I'm so grateful for the godly habits that I cultivated. They brought me so much joy, even in the midst of hard circumstances, and I know that they can do the same for you. So, let's recap. We've talked about the common struggles people face when it comes to finding joy, and we've explored some specific godly habits that can help us experience lasting joy. We've also heard a powerful personal story that illustrates the transformation brought about by adopting these habits. So, what's your experience been like when it comes to habits and joy? Have you found that certain habits bring you more joy than others? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about how to build godly habits that bring lasting joy, be sure to check out my next video on the topic.